Alright, what is going on, everybody? Today we'll be reacting to Square Enix stopping PS5 exclusives and is in trouble.
Another day, another major video game company reporting that, well, things aren't going too great for them. And I know it's easy for people to be like, oh, it's because of corporate greed, this, that, or the other. And I completely agree. Like, it does play a role, but there's also a bigger...
I don't think it's corporate greed as much as them being stupid. I mean, will you guys consider, porting games, or not porting games, I'm sorry. Like, they had the Kingdom Hearts collection finally come to PC, right? Only Epic Games exclusive for, 3 fucking years until it finally came to Steam. Back in 2020. They made it exclusive to the Epic Game Store in 2020 for 3 fucking years. Bro, would you guys consider that selfish, or would that be considered just stupidity, right? That's what I would consider it, really.
Role going on right now. It's that...
Oh, and then also not launching the Final Fantasy VII Remake on any platform but PlayStation as well. Stupid fucking move. That's not greedy. That's just stupid. Now, I know that Sony and Epic gave him money to do that, but I still consider that stupid more than anything, personally.
Gaming is just getting a little bit too big. Budgets are getting too high for games. And if you're not hitting these insane metrics that you set out to hit because of the fact that the production values of your games are so high, eventually things are going to get bad. And they're getting bad.
No, there's nothing wrong with the budgets increasing. You know what the problem is? The problem is, Square Enix themselves, taking way too long to release a game. Look at Kingdom Hearts 4, guys. Look at Kingdom Hearts 4. For the love of God, dude. How many years has it been since the reveal? Come on, man. Is it really taking you that long to make Kingdom Hearts 4? Why didn't you just take Kingdom Hearts 3 and just improved it, bro? That's all you had to do. And obviously make different maps and all that shit. Yeah, of course. But it's at most, that should by now it should be releasing. That's what I'm saying. By now it should be releasing. Otherwise, don't reveal your game. Right? It's that simple. Don't reveal your fucking game. The hell? Oh my God. And then that's not even the only game that they're inefficiently working on, right? Look at, okay, they could have made so many versions of their games on the Switch, right? So I'm talking about Final Fantasy VII Remake could have been on the Switch. Now, hold on. You might think that I'm going crazy here. Just hear me out for a second. Final Fantasy VII Remake could have went to the Switch. Final Fantasy 16 could have went to the Switch. Final Fantasy, I already said the 7 Remake, blah, blah, blah. And then maybe in some way, shape, or form, Final Fantasy 15 as well could have came to the Switch. And also Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, you guys are probably wondering, what the hell are you talking about, bro? Are you insane? Those games look like they're too crazy to be on the Switch. As they are. Yes, you're right. Can you guys take a good look at what happened back in the DS and Game Boy Advance? I'm sorry, the 7th generation, even the 8th generation, somewhat, right? And then the 6th generation. You know how the GameCube, PS2, Xbox, and the 6th generation were duking it out, yeah? But then the Game Boy would get its own version of the same game that would come to those. Now, how did they make it? They made it differently, right? They made, the Game Boy Advance and its own version. So what I'm trying to say, in the 7th generation, they also did the same thing with all the games coming to all 7th generation platforms. Obviously, they made the DS one and even the Wii one completely different from the HD ones, right? So what I'm trying to say is that they could have made the Switch version a turn-based version of those games. Oh my God! So they could have taken the same models, obviously de-resolutionized them, whatever the fuck. Lowered the resolution on them, obviously. But yes, taking the same models and just making the game around a turn-based format. That's all they had to do in order to make it for the Switch. And then guess what? The Switch 2 owners will be able to experience the real game that launched on the PC, PS5, and Series X or whatever, right? Oh my God, that's insane. That's what Square Enix could have done. But they just don't want to make money. No one wants to try anymore. That's their problem, bro. Like, we used to get all these different versions. All right, whatever. I'm just going to move on.
Seeing it right now in this year of 2024, in the year of our Lord, where a lot of video game companies are struggling. And the next company we have to talk about is Square Enix. Square Enix, everything's going good for Square Enix. They're making lots of games and people are enjoying the games. Yeah, that doesn't matter if people aren't buying the games and the games are not selling.
They're buying it, bro, but not enough because they're just keeping it on one stupid platform, which is the PlayStation. Why the hell would I want to play anything on the dumbass PlayStation when I have a PC, bro? Okay, here's the thing, okay? If Epic Games couldn't get me to come from Steam, even though it's a free fucking store, that sucks, but it's a free store, what makes you think that a shitty $500 console is going to persuade me otherwise? Come on, bro.
A point of where they're recouping finances on the development costs of these
And I do
games,
mean
because
shitty.
Square Enix just announced a major shift
Games
in their
run
business
horrible on
strategy,
it.
and
Keep
PlayStation 5
coping.
owners might not really like that. Now, when you think of Square Enix and the PlayStation 5, like, they have been like a first-party company. The amount of content that they have put out on the PlayStation 5 that's
Yeah, even more so than Sony. That's why I find it completely ridiculous, bro. Completely. Like, yo, how are you going to keep Final Fantasy, even Rebirth, right, exclusive to the PS5, yet here's Sony releasing God of Snore Ragnarok on the fucking PS4 and 5. So Sony doesn't even follow through with that shit. Like, they're not even making PS5 only games. Maybe some now, but honestly, I can't even recall. Oh yeah, well, there was Ratchet and Clank, there was Returnal, but those are not PS5 only games now, are they? Anyways. Which, the funny thing is that they could have put those games on PS4. And the funny thing is that, like, them putting it on PC, which is capable with you downloading it on a regular hard drive, shows that. So they could have made more money with those games by putting it on the PS4. Because those games were not even appropriate to be only on the PS5 anyways. So it's just ridiculous. It was so dumb. So, I don't know.
exclusive to the PlayStation 5 has been more than some of Sony's studios. They've been like a pillar of the PS5, but it seems like that might not be a long-term strategy anymore, according to Square Enix themselves. So if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We are shifting. There's lots of shifts going on here in this report from Square Enix themselves. We're shifting from quantity to quality, approach that gives creators imaginations free reign as they develop content, and a market-in approach that references customers' voices and data to inform our developmental effort.
Bro, what kind of data did you need in order to be like, oh, people on different platforms want to play our games? No way. You mean instead of us just trying to force them to buy a shitty console that no one wants, which is the PS5, you're telling me that that like us appealing to more people across different platforms will net us more money? Square Enix, you're fucking morons. Like, there's no other way of saying it. You guys are absolute fucking morons. Yes, no shit. Look, I don't even like the Xbox anymore. I don't like Nintendo anymore. But that doesn't mean that I want games to artificially not come to them because of Sony's fucking greed. And vice versa, by the way. I want more games on the PS5. I want more games on the Switch too, whenever that comes out. And even the original Switch, whatever, on as many platforms as possible. Because I come from a time where games were coming to every platform known to man. Like I said before, the 7th generation of consoles, right? Every game was coming to a version of it was making a version for each platform. Like, again, the DS version was its own thing, obviously. They also made a standard definition version for the Wii and PS2. And then they made the definitive version of the game, right, for the 360, PS3, and PC. What's wrong with just making games like that for the Switch, bro? I know that's a little bit time-consuming. I could understand that. The Switch is becoming the best-selling console of all time. Shut the fuck up and deal with it.
And you know what? That is a delicate balance, because you have to listen to your customers, but you also have to be able to create things that maybe your customers aren't aware that they want. You know, a game like, if you really think about it, like, not to give any sort of credit to Fortnite, but a game like Fortnite, on paper, like, I don't.
Why not? What's wrong with Fortnite? Like, I don't play the game. I'm not crazy about the game, but it's like, what's wrong with Fortnite? Honestly, they did everything right, really, with a live service type of game, if I'm being honest.
Think it would sound like something customers would really gravitate towards. Like, Fortnite became a thing because customers decided that this is what they like. This is something that they wanted without realizing that they wanted it. So it is a bit of a delicate balance to, you know, just put out stuff that you want there to be some creativity, you want there to be some creative freedom, but at the same time, you're a business. You've got to make money. You've got to get paid. But here's where things Here's where things start getting crazy.
Yeah, and by the way, them downscaling, which I think I heard this back sometime before. I don't know. I really forgot, but I kind of heard that Square Enix is like downscaling, and they're not going to make like a Final Fantasy 7 or a Final Fantasy 8 remake as big of as like a Final Fantasy 7 remake, which is stupid, by the way, because everyone's just going to look at that as a downgrade. Unless you put it at a lower price, it's going to be a downgrade. So I wouldn't do that if I were you, Square Enix, but whatever, you know? Like, every one of their games in the PS1 and Super Nintendo era deserves a action RPG version of it. Because they only did those type of games, the turn-based shit, only because the hardware couldn't handle otherwise for what they were trying to do at the time. Right? Like, yeah, Square Enix could have made it into, like, this 2D platformer or whatever, right? Like, yeah, they could have, but that wasn't appropriate for the game. That wasn't appropriate for taking the game seriously in a story standpoint. So I actually think that turn-based kind of fit it well for the time. But now, no, an action RPG will definitely fit a more fantasy-oriented, like, thing like Final Fantasy. So if you're going to scale down on your remakes, they better still be good.
Shift to a multi-platform strategy. Aggressively pursue a multi-platform strategy that includes Nintendo platforms, PlayStation, Xbox, and PCs. Build an environment where more customers can enjoy our titles in regards to major franchises and AAA titles, including catalog titles. Devise a platform strategy for SD titles too, that not only includes iOS and Android, but the possibility of PC launches. Maximize the acquisition of new users when launching a title and that of recurring users.
Wow, the amazing businessmen at Square Enix are at it again. Guys, if you put your games on more platforms, they make more money. What? That's insane.
After starting management of game operations. So, what is this saying? This, to me, is screaming your big Final Fantasy games. Because right now, Final Fantasy 7...
Yeah, like, no, bro. Final Fantasy 7 should have been on the Xbox. Final Fantasy VII Remake should have launched on PC. Final Fantasy 7 Remake in a turn-based format should have been on the Switch. Yeah. You fucked up, Square Enix. You've royally fucked up. And now, I don't even think, like, even if they do relaunch it on the Switch 2 or something like that, right? I mean, well, actually, they could just have... Yeah, honestly, they could just, like, bring the Final Fantasy 7, the original remake, 1, right, the first part, and then Rebirth, and then fucking... What else? Oh, yeah, well, that's it. But, like, the other parts that are coming as well, they could also just maybe put it in all-in-one for the Switch or even the other consoles. Who knows?
Remake. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Final Fantasy 16. They did not come out on any other platforms. They only came out on the PlayStation 5 or the PlayStation 4 in the terms of remake. And when you look at the sales of those, I don't think that they were as high as Square Enix wanted them to be. I think Square Enix thought that there was a much bigger market based on, you know, the hype around Final Fantasy VII, based on the love that people have of this game. I think they thought it was a much bigger market. And when you see the sales numbers, like, they're super solid. Like, they're super good. And if there wasn't a high budget production behind it, like, they probably would be very happy. But people seem to be forgetting that aspect of things when it comes to these final...
Yeah, but when the games are, like, super expensive, that's why you should not put it on one stupid-ass platform that has people that are known to not buy their games. PlayStation dudes have never fucking bought their games, bro. They never have. These losers buy fucking story games now. This is a different market. It really is. Like, dude, these PlayStation guys... No, the people who buy PlayStations... Not all of them are losers. I'm just saying, like, the dudes who are like, yeah, keep it exclusive, yet they don't even buy it. Those are losers. Those are the fanboys. They're losers. Like, bro. And then they don't even fucking buy it.
Masters when it comes to Final Fantasy 16. These games are not cheap to make. You have to sell millions and millions of copies just to potentially break even. And it doesn't seem like Square Enix is hitting those metrics when it comes to those big Final Fantasy games. Because yes, some smaller games have been multi-platform. Your HD versions of
it. And the gay station ain't gonna fucking help you with that. Like, not only that platform. Look, like I said, I want as many games to come on as many platforms as possible, bro. But it's like, you cannot be telling me that those games were only appropriate for the PS5. Come on, bro. No. Those losers, again, those fanboys, they don't even buy their fucking games. They're too busy on Twitter, like, bragging about them being exclusive than buying them and playing them, bro. It's true. That is what PlayStation fanboys do. That's what every fanboy does. but especially PlayStation fanboys.
Your Octopaths and stuff like that. Like, those have ended up becoming multi-platform entries. But when it comes to, like, the main heavy hitters of the Final Fantasy games, like, they're not hitting metrics. You think Foam Stars really help things out? Or were people excited about Foam? Like, I haven't heard anyone talk about Foam Stars since, like, 2 weeks after it came out.
Yeah, didn't Square Enix make that garbage? It was only for the PS5. And, you know, and do you guys know what was their draw to that? If you have PSN, then you could play the game for free. Oh my god. If you guys can't tell, I'm facepalming right now because that is the dumbest fucking thing ever. You absolute moron! You need PSN to play the fucking game. That's not a selling point. Oh my god. They're so stupid. They're so dumb. They're actually stupid. Square Enix is actually retarded. They are. Yep, they are. Yep. I'm convinced. Dude, you need PSN to play the fucking game. It should have been a free-to-play fucking online game. That's what it should have been. Oh my god. And they really thought this shit would have sold? Really? Why? Oh my god. Okay. Alright. Whatever. Sorry.
People tried to hype this game up like it was going to be a big, huge thing, and like, no. Like, it's kind of a market that people are getting a little bit tired of, and I don't think that was something that a lot of PlayStation owners were necessarily looking forward to. That kind of comes down to the quantity versus quality aspect that we just talked about. But I think Square Enix is going to find that they're kind of in a weird position when it comes to this multi-platform strategy, because in their mind, they're just like, okay, we'll put everything everywhere. You know, these Final Fantasy games, we're not going to restrict them anymore. We're going to put them on other platforms. But I feel like...
Yeah, about fucking time. And also, while you're at it, can you give the Nintendo dudes, like with the Switch 2 possibly, can you give them a fucking native port of the Kingdom Hearts collection? That'd be nice. Thank you.
It's going to be a little bit more difficult than they realize because of the fact that, I mean, people aren't buying Xbox games. Like, I understand a port isn't going to be all that, you know, intensive or cost all that much, but people aren't buying games on Xbox. You know, unless it goes into Game Pass, a lot of people aren't, I shouldn't say all people, but a lot.
Now, that doesn't matter if people are not buying it on Xbox, like not in droves, you know what I mean? Dude, that's still free money. Whether you guys like to admit it or not, they could just do like a half-assed port for the Series S, and that's about it, man. It's not that complicated, bro. Like, it's really not. You could still sell millions on Xbox, and you know what? Even if they don't, you're building a fan base. You're building a fan base on each platform, bro. That's what you're supposed to do. As a third-party company, that's exactly what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to provide for each ecosystem. You have to. Do you want money or not? You know what I mean? It's like, I understand that the Switch isn't very powerful. Like I said, they can make turn-based versions of those games. But you know what they could also do? Make games around the Switch and then port them to the PS5 and Series X as well. And PC, obviously. And there you go. There you go. It's not hard, bro.
People are not checking them out. So you're not going to necessarily get a bunch of sales from that, especially when Xbox doesn't know its head from its own ass, doesn't know what they want to do, and doesn't know their company direction.
No,
you can look
true.
at Nintendo,
But
and
still,
I think that's a great option for you, but you got to wait. Because the Nintendo Switch isn't running your Final Fantasy 7s or your Final Fantasy 16s. You would have to wait for the next generation platform to put them on there. And that could be a good thing, but you can't do it necessarily.
No, you don't. You could have fucking done it with a Switch 1, but making them turn-based. Which, again, there is a fan base for that. People wanted these games turn-based. You know? So
on the current platform that you have, I feel like Square Enix kind of backed themselves into a bit of a corner. And I've seen a lot of people online saying, well, their sales were up. You know, their sales were up year over year. There was a small marginal increase, I believe is the terminology they use, or something like that. So then what's the problem? You know, Final Fantasy's selling. Final Fantasy 7 selling. Final Fantasy 16 is selling. That's not good enough. There shouldn't just be a slight increase. There should be a massive increase because you have two massive games to talk about with this.
Yeah, these are big budgeted games, man. You need to put them on as many platforms as possible.
Two massive games on your portfolio.
Yep.
And it doesn't seem like they hit the metrics. And that's just talking about gross.
And, like, what are you gaining only appealing to a fan base that you already appeal to, bro? Like, again, the PlayStation dudes are already all over Square Enix's cock, bro. Let's be honest, right? Like with the PS1, Square Enix supported it. In fact, that was their first fuck you to Nintendo, right? By supporting the PS1 only. Well, obviously, because the PS1, I'm not saying they're in the wrong. I'm just saying that's what happened. And then the PS2, man, we all know the fucking bangers that Square Enix released. Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, fucking, like Final Fantasy 10, fucking, let's see, Final Fantasy 11, a fucking online game for the PS2 that was actually very popular and actually, shut down on the PS2 back in 2014 or 15. Yeah, I'm not lying, by the way. You could have still played that game online on your PS2 back in 2014. That's fucking insane. That is actually crazy to think about. But yeah. And a fuck ton others that they had on the PS2. Square Enix was the king of quality, bro. Like, they were actually one of the few quality third-party developers or publishers. Both, actually. And then when they bought fucking, Idios, or Idios, whatever. More like Adios, because they fucking sold them. They fucking had Tomb Raider, Hitman, all of those amazing games as well. And I'm just like, I was looking forward to their goddamn future, man. I really was. But man, it's sad to see their decline now. It really is. But what I'm trying to get at is that you already appeal to the PlayStation fan base. Why are you making games only for the PlayStation fan base, you idiots? You need to appeal to Nintendo. You need to appeal to fucking Xbox players. Hell, even the Final Fantasy directors themselves said that they wanted it on Xbox. And at least they're on PC. That is the closest second, man. I mean, really. I'm not lying. But, hey. It still deserves to be on Xbox and Nintendo. Fuck PlayStation. They don't deserve to have games only. They really don't. Especially Square Enix games.
Sales. That's not talking about necessarily like revenue from, as far as how gross profit versus net profit. Like basic business courses here. Gross profit's going to look very different than net profit because gross profit is just what you sold and how much you made from that. Net profit takes into account what you spent on it. And I feel like the development cost of some of those games, I don't think that they did as well as they thought they were going to do. And, saying that you're going to do less quantity, more quality, what does that mean? Because your games are quality. I'm not a huge fan of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
I mean, yeah, I do agree with that. It's like, they're already quality, bro. Just put them on more platforms. And then make different versions of them for the Switch or lesser hardware, right? It's really not that complicated. It really, really, really isn't. In fact, I'm going to actually say an example that people might be like, oh my god, it's such cringe. Fuck off. But anyways, what I'm going to say is that, like, for Final Fantasy VII Remake, they had that on the PS4, right? Then they had the integrated version on the PS5 and also on the PC. Okay, I mean, you should put on more platforms, but that's not what I'm getting at, though, right? That's obviously the definitive version of Final Fantasy VII Remake, right? Right, like, and then, they released, like, I think Ever Crisis is what it's called, on mobile, which is like a combination of the older Final Fantasy and the newer Final Fantasies. So that's actually fucking smart that they did that, right? They released this different version, and also they released on PC, actually, I remember, right? I forgot that they released it on PC, the Ever Crisis one. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is that they released a lesser version for the PC and lesser hardware. You know what I mean? It's like, it's such a good combination, man. That is what you do. Yes, that's a good idea. And also, I do remember, man, like, not even 2 years ago, they had this fucking, like, Battle Royale Final Fantasy VII based game. They did. It was like a shooter, but you also could have collected materia and shit. It was actually, I mean, I didn't like it because it controlled weird, but that was a good concept. Like, I don't know what they did with that. I think they shut down the servers for that shit. That's crazy. Like, damn, that shit didn't even last a year, I think. I don't know. But yeah, that's a good idea.
I think it has way
Keep
too
doing
much
shit
padding.
like that.
I love the gameplay. I love the visuals. The padding in the game, and Chadley kind of soured me a bit on it. I loved Final Fantasy VII Remake. I thought that was brilliant. I haven't gotten around to playing Final Fantasy 16 yet, but these are games that were critically acclaimed. They're some of the highest rated games. They are of very high quality. We're just in this...
Final Fantasy 16 was a downgrade. Let's be honest, bro. 15 shits all over it, man. I love the open world way better in 15 than like this shallow fucking hallway that's in 16. Like, wow. And you're telling me that this dumbass game couldn't be handled on the Switch? Okay, bro. Really? Come on, man. This shit is literally a fucking hallway. So is 7 Remake. Which, again, yeah, which I question. You sure you couldn't just, like, lower the resolution and put on the Switch? Right? Like, I don't know. But either way, like, I think I would have preferred a turn-based version for the Switch and then the real console versions. I know I already said this. Square Enix doesn't fucking get it, though. So, yeah. I think I have to repeat it 700 more times.
Point right now, And you know, you also have to factor in the economy. The yen versus the US dollar right now is night and day. So people in Japan aren't spending much on, you know, entertainment. You look in America right now, people are struggling to put food on the table. They're not necessarily trying to spend $70 on a video game that might just go into PlayStation Plus in a year if you wait, or if it goes to Xbox, it might just go into Game Pass. Like, economic problems are a large part of the video game industry problems, but there's so many other reasons why. These rising development costs, these crazy metrics that people...
Fuck that stupid rising development costs. At that point, just use AI and fuck these stupid developers. Yeah, I don't care if I'm going to get shit for this. Fuck these modern developers, bro. They don't know how to optimize. They don't know how to make good games. They don't even know how to fucking make any game well. Like, again, forget the optimization. I'm talking about bugs and stuff like that as well. Fuck these modern game developers, bro. Use AI. Fuck them. At this point, just have a couple of good coders and then fuck the rest of them. Honestly.
Think that they need to hit because they're self-employed.
Because these assholes are taking too long with video games, and look at them. They're not even that good. In fact, they're horrible most of the time.
Because they put so much time and effort and money into a game. Like, people who say that gaming is healthy right now, they're fucking idiots. I didn't mean to say the F word, but it came out because they are. They literally...
Oh, God forbid you say the F word. Actually, he should say more.
Are. I've been preaching this for months and months and months now.
Because they're fucking idiots. That's good.
That the video game industry is not in a very good state. It's in a very volatile state. And people see that all this money...
No, it depends. It depends. Like, if you're talking about, like, these modern AAA companies, yeah, they are in a shitty state, yeah. But if we're talking about indies, bro, they're in a better position than they ever have been, right? Am I wrong for saying that? I mean, bro, they're able to port their games on any platform that they fucking want to now. Obviously, accommodating by the rules in each country and shit, right? But they can still do it. You know? Back in the day, they wish they were able to do that. You know? Imagine if there were indie developers that could have just as easily now, like, put their games on fucking PS2, Xbox, and GameCube back when those were popular systems. Bro. Dude. That would have been fucking awesome, right? Man. But yeah, now they're able to do that so easily. So, no, for lesser developers, and especially with the rising of AI, no, it's only going to get better for the smaller dude. It really is. Like, honestly. Watch out, guys. You're going to see a lot more games, and maybe some of them will be AI-based, but they will be fucking much better than the shit we have now.
Coming in, everything must be good.
Oh,
yes, corporate greed does play a role in that, but there's a much bigger role going on. The rise of development costs. How much everything costs to make nowadays. And if you don't turn a profit...
That's honestly due to poor management. I know I already said this. Sorry, but, dude, that's really due to poor management, okay? The rising cost is not a factor when you actually have good fucking direction in a video game. Whether that's art direction, not just over-realism shit or whatever, you know? Because that doesn't even run well on all the platforms, not even the shitty-ass PS5 and Series X. So if you have good art direction, you won't take that long with the fucking graphics. If you have good direction in general with, you know, what team does what, or, you know, however they manage their games, right? You will fucking get the game out within 2 to 3 years. Honestly, you will. I don't care how big your fucking game is. Do you have any idea how much something like Unreal Engine 4 or 5 fucking like mainlined that shit? You do not have to spend, if you have an iota of fucking intelligence, right? And you have, like, at your job is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that game directing is very easy, right? Or game development is very easy. But if you're, you know, good in your field on those shits, like you should be anyways, you would be able to get a game out with the right team and the right direction and the right everything 2 to 3 years. There you go. Oh my God. Like, really, it's that simple, bro.
Companies are shutting down. Studios are shutting down. Look at Tango. You did great, Tango, but we got to close it down, pal. Sorry about that. And if you think that this is...
Yeah, they deserve it. Sorry. I don't care. Like, how the fuck can you make a stupid-ass game, like a rhythm action game or whatever? That game should have just been a fucking... it should have just been an action game first and foremost. And then the special attacks were like, you know, like your specials or whatever, like your super omega attacks. It should have been a rhythm-based, like, thing to do, right? That's what it should have been. So, I don't care, really.
That's just going to be exclusive to
no
Xbox.
loss
and it's not
there.
Hit Sony, you're not paying attention, bro. So I'll be interested to see what Square Enix does. I think...
No, they're not, because they keep fucking remastering shit. But yeah, anyways, guys, he's just going to keep rambling on like me. So I'm just going to end it here. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all the good stuff. And yeah, tell me in the comments below what you would like Square Enix to do. And if you are one of those people that want to keep games exclusive to the PlayStation, then I will kick you in the rear. All right, so you guys later.